Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Buccateers podcast, episode 87. We got a great one in store today. Special guest from the Primetime Carolina Podcast. Dave is here to join the show. We'll bring him in here in a minute after we roll the intro. We got Cats in the house. We got Huncho in the house. Obviously, I am Tampa Tones. You guys are tuned into the Buccateers. We are now live on Twitter, YouTube, and Bucs Life News, Facebook. Get those questions in. We'll try and get to all of them. We're here until a little after the top of the hour. Once again, you're tuned into the Buccateers. We'll be back in a short second after the intro. Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. Energy, electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buc fans.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks
Donovan.
like Stunna is hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, into the Buccateers podcast. Once again, Tampa Tones here. We got Huncho in the building. We got Dave from Primetime Carolina Pod in the building. We got Cats in the building. We'll bring the rest of the Buccateers in shortly, but first we want to bring our special guest who is so grateful to share some time with us this evening. I was lucky enough to do an NFC South roundtable with the gentleman from Primetime Carolina Podcast before the season even started on Shakeback Media, the Giants podcast. So that was really fun times. And, we like to have guests on every time we play an opponent, whether it's a Tampa guest or an opponent's guest. And I found it appropriate to invite my friends back from Primetime Carolina Podcast. And we got Dave in the house tonight, good enough to join us for at least a little bit of his busy time. We do appreciate it. Dave, how the hell you doing, my friend? Welcome into the Buccateers. We appreciate it. Even though we're enemies on Sunday, we'll be friends tonight, brother.
No doubt, man. It's hatred in the stands, but it's love away from the stadium. So thanks for having me, guys. Glad to be here and ready to chop it up.
Real quick too, man, where can the and you got that right, love outside the stadium, brother. All is love. And you always want the NFC South playing good ball and representing. Sadly, we haven't been getting that out of many of the teams lately, so we'll hope the corner turns there. But where can the people keep up with you and your podcast on Twitter? So if any Bucs fans out there want to see or listen to what's going on with Carolina, they could find you guys.
Yeah, man, I don't know why any of your viewers would want to tune into a Carolina Panthers podcast, but if they choose to do so, you can find us on YouTube if you want to support our channel. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You can just search Primetime Carolina Podcast, and we should be right up there. So appreciate anyone willing to look that up.
You never know. You got some scouting to do. NFC South people want to toe the line and toe the rubber with other NFC South folks. So we'll see, what's going on there. We got a question quick, and I'll ask it to a Buccateer as we bring him in upon arrival. Our man Huncho's in the building tonight. And Huncho, this is for you. When is Jones, Julio, I'm guessing he's alluding to, going to play, or she, I'm sorry, Heidi, is asking that. When is Julio going to play, do you believe? And do you think we see him this Sunday? 1 minute, Hunch. You're muted, bro. All right. You're good now. Yeah, you're good.
All right. Well, what's up, Heidi? As far as my opinions about the Julio Jones, I know he practiced today, so from here on out, I mean, it's a possibility that he plays this week, this Sunday. But it's been a possibility since week 1. Every Sunday after that he had a possibility to play. I mean, hopefully he gets on the field so we can open up our offense a little more and get some points on the board. So if I had to choose, I'll just say it's up in the air, game time decision. Hopefully Sunday we can see him.
And I find it hilarious that people out there are like clamoring for Kadarius Toney as a Buccaneers fan when we already have all these wide receivers, and some of them banged up, albeit Julio. But once they get back, if you can't get these guys going, then there's just a problem with your offense. And adding a dude like Kadarius Toney wouldn't help that at all. What say you, Cats, as we welcome you in? You've seen some rumors on Kadarius Toney this week. I don't think we want anything to do with him. Not a bad dude, not a bad player, but enough cooks in the kitchen.
There's no point. Yeah, unless we had more injuries, and I hope we don't get them at the wide receiver position, there's no point in doing that. There's enough talent on this offense if we're executing at a high level to put points on the board. So, no reason to go out and do that. As for Julio Jones, I don't expect him to play on Sunday.
Dave, what say you? Do you even care I know as a Carolina fan, we talked a little before the show, about the whole thing being competitive or going for a better draft pick. It's still early on in the season, though, so you're at the point, even though down and out it looks like right now, technically only 2 games back in the division. Do you think Julio Jones is still a threat at this point in time, or, are your days as a defense done if he does make his way onto the field worrying about him?
I mean, at this point in his career, he's definitely able to make enough plays to make an impact on a game. I wouldn't necessarily worry about him coming in and taking over a game, but I definitely think he still has enough in the tank to come in and make enough plays to make a difference. So, I mean, if he's going to stay on the sideline, that's cool with me.
And that's kind of how Bucs fans feel about it too. I feel like we kind of knew what we were getting when we signed him. You were getting a banged up older guy who was going to bring a handful of games and a little bit of production in those games and some veteran mentorship into the locker room, really, for the younger wide receivers and whatnot. And speaking of mentorship, it was a weird situation going on in Carolina the past couple of seasons, in my opinion. Matt Rule, to me, never really had a good grip or mentorship in that locker room. I feel like whether it was more the culture or on his behalf, he kind of just equates to a college head coach, in my opinion, and there's nothing wrong with that. You see that time to time. Look at Nick Saban. He's kind of one of those college lifers. He tried the NFL. He didn't work out too much. We see it time again. Urban Meyer, or Uncle Urban, worked his way into Jacksonville and wiggled his way out of there rather quickly. So, some of these dudes just belong in college. What was your overall feel on Matt Rule, and how do you feel about his dismissal from Carolina? Are you excited for Steve Wilks, or is this kind of a thing that's just going to blow over in a year, and Matt Rule and Steve Wilks will not even be a talk anymore?
So just starting with the whole Matt Rule era in itself, the whole thing, I mean, it was just obvious since about the beginning of year 2 that it just wasn't working out. Once we won those first 3 games, it felt like, okay, everything's coming together. Matt Rule knows what he's doing. But the big thing with Matt Rule is he was always terrible when it came to making adjustments on the fly. So you would see us all the time come out in a game, jump on top in the first quarter, second quarter. By the time the second half rolled around, we could not do anything and we could not stop anything. That's because other teams made adjustments, and we just could not do that. Matt Rule, yes, was a program builder in college. I think he did a good job of that, obviously, but that doesn't necessarily translate to the NFL. And I think as we see with a lot of college coaches, like you brought up Urban Meyer, we see with a lot of college coaches, these guys think, I know what I'm doing. I turned this program around in college. I built this dynasty in college. I'm just going to take exactly what I did, take it to the pros. I'm going to build something new in the NFL. And it just doesn't work like that, man. So, and that's exactly what he did. He showed up with his college rah-rah stuff. Eventually that fizzles out. He hired a coaching staff that was almost all college coaches. They're trying to run college defenses. They're running college offenses in a way in which they're not mixing in a lot of different looks. They're trying to do a lot of the same things over and over again, which you can do in college when you are far more talented than the team across from you. But in the NFL, it's just not like that. You're not going to be far more talented than the guy across from you. So once teams caught on to what they like to do, he didn't stand a chance. And, there's been weird reports coming out ever since. I don't know if it's made it to you guys' end of Twitter or not, but since he got fired, weird stories have started coming out, like he was controlling like social media and stuff, just stuff that he should have no business touching. He had full control of. So he came in. I like to call him Kim Jong-rule. He came in like a propagandist and decided he was going to do everything his way and have full control, and it just wasn't working out.
That's a great one, Kim Jong-rule, man. Haven't heard that one before, but that would be very interesting if he did take over social medias and try and do that such. But I wouldn't put it past him. I always called him Doug Heffernan, the knockoff Doug Heffernan from the King of Queens, Kevin James.
Yeah, big fan right here.
Yeah, big fan myself, brother. He one of those guys that, he was just always making me laugh. Not that he was doing it on purpose, I don't think, but surely wouldn't put it past Matt Rule to run those social medias. Huncho, Cats, you guys got anything to say about Dave's story here that Matt Rule might have been, doing some crazy things out there?
That kind of I believe it's possible because if you remember, we had Greg Schiano down here, and he was coming from the college.
He came from
ranks.
Rutgers, right?
Yeah, he came from Rutgers, and he pretty much did the same thing. He wanted control over everything. Like the dude was like over like controlling, narcissistic. He was the AC. He wanted the temperature a certain way with the AC. It was just wild. So I understand exactly what you mean. I could believe that.
Yeah.
Schiano once yelled at a chef at One Buck Place because the meatballs were too small. That's a true story. Yeah, it's not an urban legend. That's a true story. College coaches, most of the time they don't work out, and the reason is they can't control everybody because you can't treat grown men the same way you treat college students.
Right.
Greg tried the best he could. I think the Bucs wanted to clear some riffraff out of the locker room. He actually was able to do some of that. Unfortunately, they also were hoping to win games. He didn't do a lot of that. So that's usually the case with most college coaches. So I'm not surprised that it didn't work out for Matt Rule either in Carolina.
Yeah, and I think, sorry to interrupt you.
No, go on, Dave.
I was going to say, I think naturally you find that these college coaches are good at landing jobs because when you're a college coach, so much of your job is recruiting and convincing people that you're the guy and you're the one who's going to change their life. So you walk into these interviews with these, owners. And in our case, David Tepper was a brand new owner. One of the first interviews he did, he's listening to this sales pitch from this guy, Matt Rule, who's a program builder, which totally fits exactly what he's trying to do in his first year as an owner. He wants to build, a winning franchise. So he hears that sales pitch and he's all in, just like the 5-star recruit. Well, I guess Baylor wasn't getting many 5-star recruits, but just like the 4-star recruit who went to Baylor or whatever. So.
No, I agree with that 110%. It's a whole new ball game, right? It's like you're not the big man on campus anymore in the NFL. You're just one of the dudes at that point. And, these players more and more, year by year, they do get their way a little bit more each year as well, right, wrong, or indifferent. The coaches don't seem to hold, quite the power and grasp at the NFL level they used to. GMs don't, these players do a little bit more of what they want nowadays, and we've seen that with Robby Anderson this past Sunday. We'll get into that one a little bit more here quick. We got Don't Remind Us of Greg Loose Cannon Leprechaun in the building. What up, brother? Hope you're doing great tonight, my friend. Yeah, Greg Schiano. Hey, we had former Buck Anthony Gator on the show. He did endorse Greg Schiano, said he did like playing for him more than he liked Lovie Smith. So, some players do, I guess, like that. You never know. And then he says the Nick Saban experiment, yada, yada, yada. This next comment, though, is for our man Dave here, the Panthers guy. PJ Walker is my dog. Met him during the XFL. Hope he loses, though. What is going on in the quarterback situation on Sunday? I feel like all your quarterbacks are hurt. Is Paul Chin is tuned in on Facebook. Friend of the show, thanks for tuning in this evening, Paul Chin. We do appreciate you, brother. But all your quarterbacks are kind of hurt. They're all kind of, around. Obviously, I think Baker Mayfield's the most talented, but in terms of recent success, they've all been hovering around the same level of play. What's up with the QB situation heading into this Sunday? Are we going to get PJ Walker? Are we going to get Baker Mayfield? And where the hell is Sam Darnold?
So Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, as far as I know, both practice this week. I don't know which one will be active or if both will be active, if neither will be active on Sunday. PJ Walker is going to start. And PJ, look, man, Panthers fans love PJ. He's a crowd favorite. He's got that underdog story, came from the XFL, all that cool stuff. But at the end of the day, he's really just not an NFL quarterback. We root for him. We all love him. He's just not good enough. Last week, he had definitely his roughest game in the games he has played in the NFL. But it really wasn't all him. Our offense as a whole has been an absolute joke this year. It hasn't been the players' fault, really. The offensive line's actually played better than they have in years in Carolina. But the quarterback play's been subpar, to say the least. And Ben McAdoo has been as bad as he was when he got fired from the Giants.
As bad as advertised.
Yeah, as bad as advertised. So the offense as a whole has just been completely discombobulated all season.
And do you think, before we bring in the Buccateers on this as well, do you think that's what happened with Robby Anderson? Do you see why he got frustrated, or are you kind of on the side of, hey, I don't care who you are, you never blow up on your coach? I mean, it wasn't quite to the extent of the Antonio Brown thing because he didn't leave willingly. He did legit get kicked out, I guess, although Bruce Arians did tell AB, you're done, get the F out of here. So at the end of the day, AB got kicked out as well. But how do you view that Robby Anderson situation, and how do you view his time in Carolina in general? Kind of a guy who had a great first year, then underachieved the past year and a quarter or so.
Yeah, so Robby Anderson, I mean, I try not to put too much blame on him because I understand, like, this shit's been hard to watch this year. So I can't imagine what it's like to be on the field running go routes all day and never touching the football. So, I mean, I get why he's frustrated. Honestly, though, he was put in a role that was probably bigger than he needs to be put in anyway. He's been paid like a legitimate number 2, fringe number 1 receiver. They restructured his contract. He was making somewhere between $10 and $20 million a season, which, he's a fine guy. I don't mind having him on the roster, but he was not earning that salary in any way. He had one 1,000-yard season in his career. To me, he's just a guy you can send deep, hit on a deep ball every once in a while. So, again, that was a Matt Rule thing. That was one of Matt Rule's guys from Temple. We ended up having, between our practice squad, our roster, and our injured reserve, we had 10 ex-Rule college players on our roster. So that's a huge factor in why we're so behind the 8 ball when it comes to the talent on the team. Is Rule was picking out all his favorite guys from his college days and putting them out on the field, giving them big contracts, things you just cannot do if you want to win in professional football games.
Yeah, that sounds eerily similar to Greg Schiano when we were mini Ruckers over here. And I love Eric LeGrand, and that was probably the only justifiable Rucker on the roster at one point in, when Eric LeGrand was going through those hardships and whatnot. Cats, right. We'll start with you here on this one. Robby Anderson leaving, and just Dave's comments in general on that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If the Panthers don't see themselves as a contender at this point this year, which it seems like, given what's occurred, they do not, I think it's smart to move on from him at this point. And he might be able to help Arizona, who still looks like they're kind of, sort of in this thing. If they're kind of going through a transition now in Carolina, given the money he's making, there's no reason to hold on to him at this point.
I agree. Huncho, quick, what's your thoughts on the Robby Anderson thing? And then Dave's got a question, it looks like, from Eric here. But Huncho, what are your take and thoughts on the whole Robby Anderson, blowing up and kind of like an Antonio Brown type of situation, but not near the production, as Dave alluded to, kind of one of those overrated type guys who got paid a little more than they bargained for, and maybe a product of Matt Rule coaching him up in college.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree with what he said about the contract and everything, and also to the whole fact that Robby Anderson, when it comes to stuff like that, I feel like you gotta have a strong locker room also, and I don't know how many veterans like they really have over there in the locker room to keep the team afloat, like what happened with AB when he had his meltdown. We still had Tom Brady. We still had a couple good leaders in the locker room to keep the team composed. And I don't know if the Panthers at that level yet, or they have that stability in the locker room where they can move forward when a situation like that happens, to get through the hardship and find a way to start winning games and stuff. Maybe it'll make them or break them. You never know. And I guess we'll see who won that trade and soon to come. And as far as with the I remember the same thing with Shiano was doing the same thing, bringing all his Rutgers people in, and it didn't go too good also with that same type of mentality. You gotta have some type of veteran, like some coaching staff. You want to have some good strong coaching staff, experienced coaches and players, and not just bring your favorite guys in just because you like them, because can they still play football? Can they help you really win games? I don't know. You gotta get those type of players that you could plug in and immediately upgrade and start winning.
Couldn't agree more, brother. That's well said, and kind of generalizes the whole situation in general. Calling up guys who aren't capable of doing stuff, kind of ironic when you got guys like Greg Schiano and Matt Rule coaching. So the irony of it all. We got Eric asking a question for you, Dave. Ask him what latest CMC who going be. I think he means the CMC rumored to be traded anywhere, and who would it be to, I guess, if he were?
Yeah, so I did a quick little video about this on the YouTube channel yesterday, but even since then, it's picked up quite a bit as far as the momentum of Christian McCaffrey getting traded. Teams that I see as potential destinations, or I've heard as linked to the trade, are the Dolphins, 49ers, Bills, Chiefs, I would think would be involved. I would imagine it is going to be a team who sees himself as a contender, who feels that if they add this one chess piece, feels like it'll put them over the top. Because you add this guy to your offense becomes great. If your offense is already great, you add him, you become unstoppable. You can move him all over the field. I always describe him as a chess piece. I know I just said that, but it's like a queen on a chessboard. He can go all over the place. He can move anywhere. You can attack any way you want to with him, inside, outside, slot, doesn't matter. He's going to change the face of your offense. So I imagine it's going to cost at least a second-round pick. I've heard the Panthers are asking for as much as 2 first-round picks. I think they might get something in the middle, maybe 1 first-round pick. If you could get a late first-round pick for a guy like that, I think that's a trade in which both parties kind of get what they want. McCaffrey will probably – next time the Panthers are making a run at a playoff run, McCaffrey's probably going to be too old to play in the NFL. Running backs don't last long. In 3 years, he'll be around 30 years old. It's best for everybody that he just gets out of town and goes to a better situation, and that's just being honest.
Yeah, and then it's a win-win-win. He still makes his money. He gets to try and win. The Panthers get some compensation back for that. As you alluded to, the NFL is a wild, wild game, but odds are when the Panthers are ready to compete again, McCaffrey won't be the guy he used to be. And to me right now, when he is healthy, the key word if or when, but to me he is the best running back in the NFL when he's fully healthy. I mean, the things he could do, his hands out of the backfield, his route running, to step up and be that third down back. He could even block pretty decent as well for being a little dude. And who would have expected that? He's just so elusive back there. I think if he goes to Buffalo, that offense with Diggs, McCaffrey, Knox, and all those gentlemen are great. So, Buccateers, before we bring you in, Dave's going to give his last words, thoughts, and wisdom here for the big game in the NFC South this Sunday as the Bucs are heading to Carolina. 1 o'clock Eastern time in Carolina. Dave, what say you on a score prediction, my friend? And player of the game prediction could be from either side of the ball, but we do appreciate you joining, my friend. It's been an honor.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I don't know, man. Game prediction, it's hard to say. I don't expect much from the Panthers. There's been no reason to expect much from the Panthers. Their defense has as many touchdowns as their offense in the past 3 weeks. Or at least it's close. It's like 3-4, 3-3, something like that. So I don't expect the offense to do much. They haven't done much all season. I'll say 27-10 Bucs. As far as a player of the game, is Mike Evans healthy?
Yes, sir. He'll be there.
All right. I don't know yet if J.C. Horn's going to play, so this is an if. If J.C. Horn is out, it's going to be Mike Evans because Dante Jackson and C.J. Henderson have been getting shredded without J.C. Horn. Cooper Kupp, man, he had those boys in hell on earth last weekend. So if they're out, it's going to be Mike Evans.
And doesn't Cooper Kupp have all the boys in the world on ice skates when he's playing out there? Dave, I think we'd love if it's Mike Evans, and I think we'd love that score prediction. I'm not too confident myself right now, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. It sounded
Trust me, y'all got a good chance this weekend.
Hey, I heard that last week against Pittsburgh, brother. Dave, one more time, where can the people keep up with the Primetime Carolina Podcast and all your guys' good stuff? We'll link you guys in the bio as well. When I put this out, we'll put your guys' YouTube and Twitter and all that good stuff down there.
Yeah, absolutely. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, Primetime Carolina Podcast.
Keep doing your thing, brother. We'll cross paths again one day. Maybe, when we link up again a second time this year, we'll have some different things and different discussions to talk about. But you're always welcome on, my friend. We appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Peace out, guys.
Peace out. And that's good stuff right there, fellas. It's Dave from Primetime Carolina Podcast. He knows his stuff about his team, gentlemen. That's for sure. Huncho, what say you about the Christian McCaffrey being traded thing or just having Dave on in general?
Yeah, he gave me a lot of insight on Carolina. I'm not too familiar about them right now and what they have going on, but I've heard the rumblings about Christian McCaffrey and of course their coach. So yeah, I agree with him 100% with the age that he's getting and why waste his career, and if y'all not going to be doing anything right now, why not try to get some picks for him? I don't think he's worth 2 first rounds, maybe not even quite a first round because of the injury. Like if you're a team that sees him for your long-term fix probably, and like the Buffalo Bills, and you could plug him in and he'll fit right in, and it takes you over the top. I see someone adding them to their roster like that. But far as just a team that's rebuilding and trying to start over and put their team together, I wouldn't go and grab him and put him on my team. And the injuries are a big concern. I know it happens in the NFL, but he's injured often, more than not. So before you look into getting Christian McCaffrey, I will see your whole team will have to be like complete, especially if you're going to spend something high like a first round pick on a guy like that.
I tend to agree with you. I think you'll probably end up getting a really good second round pick and maybe a day 3 pick for him. I find it tough garnering a first round pick, given his injury history. Without a doubt, if he's had a better track record, I think not his statistics. I don't want to be put on a reel out there saying that shit, but if he had a better track record for his health, I think he would get a higher draft pick, such as a first round pick, maybe now a 2nd and 7th. Cats, what say you, brother, on the whole McCaffrey situation, and what would you do as an opponent? Is a team interested in him?
If you're a contending team, and the teams that he mentioned are, I would certainly push my chips in to try to get him. Again, I don't think I'd try to avoid a first-round pick, but hey, it becomes a seller's market, man. I'll tell you. I mean, if you got that many teams interested, teams that are pushing their chips in to win a Super Bowl, and all those teams are, I'd like to think we are too, although we're not going to be in the sweepstakes for Christian McCaffrey, nor should we be. Yeah, you ask for the moon and the stars. If you don't get it, you still get a second-round pick, and the Panthers aren't in a competitive cycle now where they're going to be winning anything anytime soon. There's no reason to hang on to the guy. So get what you can, start your rebuild with some draft picks, and move on.
I agree. Get what you can, build for the future, and then either take a crap load of young players or package those picks up for a higher draft pick if there's a quarterback there, as Dave from Primetime Carolina alluded to. They like Bryce Young, and they like a couple other of the quarterbacks up there, Stroud as well and whatnot. So we're going to do rapid fire here with Eric's questions. Eric's got a bunch of good questions for us, so we're going to go around the horn and do some Buccateers around the horn with these questions from Eric quick, and then we got a Loose Cannons Leprechaun comment before we proceed with our fine programming this evening. But Eric says, what do you guys think Vaughn on the trade block? First off, I don't think Keyshawn Vaughn is on the trade block. I think that Keyshawn Vaughn is a depth running back right now for the Buccaneers. I don't think they'd get a lot for him, nor do I think that they're hurrying to move him by any means. I mean, this is their third or fourth running back, depending when Gio's healthy or not. But at the end of the day, when Lenny F gets as much carries and touches as he does, knock on wood, you never know in modern day NFL when a guy like that could get hurt. And then you have a rookie Rashad White and you have a banged up Giovanni Bernard. To me, there's no reason to get rid of a veteran running back like Keyshawn Vaughn, especially. I'll answer your next question here. What could you get for him? Nada. You might not even get a 6th nor 7th round pick for him. And I love Keyshawn Vaughn. That's not me ripping on Keyshawn Vaughn. He showed some signs of life last year, but Keyshawn Vaughn is going to be a lot more valuable in Tampa than he would be for A, what we get for him, and B, anywhere else at this point in time. So it's not like we're in the preseason anymore. We're in week 7 now. Learning the playbook isn't easy for everybody, specifically guys who are still kind of learning their own playbook in some sort of way, which Vaughn might just be doing. So, Huncho, we'll get you this question from Eric here next, as he has a lot of good ones. Who do you think the Bucs should trade before the deadline? Huncho, do you think the Bucs should trade for anyone before the deadline, or do you think they should hold put?
I wouldn't more so say trade right now, but I definitely say looking into other options. I would say definitely offensive line. I know the Ryan Jensen rumors came out, but I'm not quite sure how factual that is and how much fire and smoke that has with that rumor that's going around. But I would definitely look into upgrading the offensive line right now. I mean, it'll probably be kind of difficult for someone to try to come in and learn that playbook as soon as possible and contribute. But if anything, I would look towards the offensive line, more so Gadecki's position. I feel like we need more stability right there in protecting the GOAT and keeping him upright. And if any position, I would definitely have to go with offensive line, but preferably the left guard.
And speaking of Gadecki, real quick, we do have a giveaway that will happen this Sunday. I keep postponing it, damn it, but it's going to happen this week. I promise. Look for a video coming Friday or Saturday. But even though he's struggling a little bit, we might be looking at a replacement. Still a rookie, and he's a nice guy, a good guy. He's trying his best. We're giving away this Luke Gadecki signed autograph Buccaneers mini helmet. Has the Bucs logo on one side, has his number 67 on one side, is inscribed Fire the Cannons on the back, and Luke Gadecki number 67 on the front. So we'll be giving that away, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll also be giving away, it won't be signed, so this ain't yours, this is mine, but we're going to be giving away some of these lovely Buccateers mini helmets. A beautiful thing about this, look at how nice those signatures look on there. I got these all at the Colts-Bucs preseason game. I mean,
that's
these
nice.
things are nice for signatures. I got Devin White on here, Scotty Miller on here, Kyle Trask on here, Blaine Gabbert on here, Larry Foote on here. You guys could win these mini helmets. All you got to do is follow the Buccateers on Twitter. Pay attention to our giveaway this weekend. And we're going to only ask you a simple thing. Follow us, retweet the giveaway tweet, and tweet your score prediction and player of the game. And then we'll figure out who the winner is. There will be 2 winners, one for the Godecki mini helmet, and then one for a non-signed. Again, this puppy ain't leaving. Just an example of how good signatures look, but a non-signed Buccateers mini helmet. And I'm doing a terrible job, but I still got mini helmets heading y'all's way. 2 to each of you. Cats, you're getting 2. Hunch, you're getting 2. Stun is getting 2. And then we'll see if the 2 practice squad guys at this point, Cody and Bucko, get 2. No, I'm kidding around. Everybody's getting 2 for everybody. So we'll do that. We'll go ahead and just do that. I'll ship them out when I ship the winning helmets out. I just really have been putting it off, and shame on me. Cats, it's up to you now for this question. Some of these are confusing here. Let's see. As Bucs, who is gone this week? I guess we'll put it like this. Do you expect anyone besides the normal expected people to miss this game? I mean, Akeem Hicks obviously probably won't play. Logan Ryan's out. That's definitely a no-one. We'll put it like this. Shaq Mason and Julio Jones, do either one of those guys concern you of missing this game?
Yeah, Julio Jones, I expect to miss the game. Shaq Mason, I expect to play, from what I've been reading. Julio last played the Kansas City game, if I'm not mistaken. They said he could have played the Green Bay game. They opted to hold him out. Hindsight now being more 2020, looking at that game. Really wish he had played in that game, but, what's done is done. I don't see him playing this week. I think he will play at some point. But Shaq Mason, it sounds like everything's okay there, and he should play.
And then we got a double question. Kat, you could answer this one, and then we'll get to Loose Cannon's Leprechaun comment. Do you think Julio Jones should get cut? I personally don't, and my reasoning is the same reason as the Keyshawn Vaughn thing for the most part. Cats, what say you? And then we'll ask Huncho quick. Do you think Julio should get cut?
No. Why would they cut? There's no reason to cut the guy. I mean, if he's injured, he's injured. If he's healthy, in week 1, we saw him when he was healthy. He actually contributed. He had a nice game. So, no, there's no reason to cut him. He's just had some health issues, which we knew he would have. And you hope that you get him back and that you get him back at the right time. So, no, there's no reason to cut the guy.
And the thing with Julio, before we get Hunch's take on it too quick, we knew what we were getting in him, a banged up older Julio. I said that earlier in the pod. We all said that. We've all known that by now. And the thing is, you really only need him, you want him all the time, but you really only need him come December, January playoff time. That's when you need him most. So, Huncho, what say you on this Julio getting cut blasphemy?
Not at all. I agree 100% with Cats. Not at all. Not right now. And I agree with you with the Vaughn take. There's no need to even cut him right now. And as you seen last year when we got short on wide receiver depth, it cost us in the playoffs. So right now, hopefully we could just bring him along. Just make sure he's good enough to go. I don't want him to get hurt by putting him out there any sooner, and we need him later on in the year when people actually get hurt. You know what I'm saying? God forbid none of that happens, but just keep him right now for depth. I wouldn't cut him because he actually did play good when he was healthy on the field, and he made a difference. So I definitely just waited out. And he signed, give him a he's under contract, so I wouldn't just cut a guy on the street, especially like Julio Jones.
Yeah, I agree with that. You can't let him walk, and then worst comes to worst, what if you do let him walk? He magically heals up quick. He joins a team like Green Bay or some shit. Next thing you know, you're playing him on Sundays or maybe in the playoffs down the road. You never know how the game of football works, right? Look at Odell Beckham last year. Ended up winning a Super Bowl, started his year with Baker Mayfield throwing to him. So You never
Right.
know. And our guy Dave and Primetime Carolina, two great guys over there. They do a great job at covering the Carolina Panthers, running their stuff. They know their stuff. They say, thanks for the invite, guys. Take care. Thanks again, Dave. We appreciate you joining us,
Appreciate it.
brother. That was a really good time. And Dave knows his stuff, so that was good
Yeah.
stuff.
Good guy.
Really good guy, fellas. And we'll get into this one quick before we continue our way through the show here. How am I sounding quick? It says my internet's weak. Am I coming in all right?
Sound fine to me.
Sound good to me over here.
All right, cool. That's all I need to hear from the fellas right there. Boom, we're ready to roll. Loose Cannon's Leprechaun made a comment. Doesn't Bill Belichick get flack for being too controlling, or is it deaf because he was winning? I think he did too much flack a little bit, but he was winning,
doesn't
so it
deserve
was
it.
fine. What say you, Cats?
He has credibility. He's won a ton at the NFL level.
Mhm.
I mean, as a coordinator, he won. As a head coach, he's won. So he can be controlling the players, respect him. It's a lot different for a college coach coming in off the street who's no NFL experience, comes in, big rah-rah guy. You know, no one's going to listen
Right.
to what credibility do you have at the NFL level. Bill Belichick is a lot different. He's developed a culture and a winning program in New England at the NFL level, consistently winning. It's been a little bit harder without Brady, but they still are putting a competitive team on the field. So, no, he doesn't deserve flack. He doesn't really get much of it either.
Right. And I agree 100% with you, Cats. 110%. If anyone, any coach in the league that I think is, any GM, coach, whatever that does too much, it's a GM, and it's Jerry Jones. We all know how he is, and he's real controlling, and how he runs from top to bottom. And I think his decisions cost the team a lot more than it helps them out. You know, so yeah, but Bill Belichick, I think he's fine. He deserves, he earned everything that he's gotten, and I don't feel like he should face any backlash or anything like that.
Yes.
I agree. Sorry about that, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Bear with me if I do drop out again. Cats and Hunch are here to lead the way.
You know we got you.
I know y'all do. That's what I love about you guys. I don't gotta worry about nothing with that stuff. So two of the best in the business, Huncho and Cats, by my side right here. So thanks again, fellas. We got another one. We need to keep Julio for the playoffs. Kevin says, absolutely, brother. I think we all agree with you on that one. That's pretty, much common sense to the three of us. We agreed with that, and we just talked about how we'd hang on to Julio and how there's pretty much no purpose in cutting Julio or releasing Julio because it wouldn't do anything for us and could better the competition perhaps. So, fellas, are there any concerns for our beloved Buccaneers, or are we kind of just are we going through rough patch? I mean, I know it's Halloween season, so I'm not gonna say it's a pumpkin patch, but I'll call it a rough patch. That's for sure.
Man, listen, Tones. I'm gonna just say this, man. I was listening to these press conferences. Shout out to JC Allen, because he asked a lot of good questions today that a lot of fans and people were wondering about the mindset and the scheme, and just the mindset of how Byron is, how he approaches the game, or what he sees, and his thought process with the running the ball and all. And his comments really didn't settle me in to make me feel comfortable of the way that the direction that this team is going. Like, I know we have rough patches, and I understand people are backs against the walls, and they get paid, and everybody goes through certain little things with their team. And yeah, we've been winning, but I'm not looking at so much of the winning, the number. I'm looking at how we're winning and how's the team is looking. And we haven't showed a complete game of just dominating or looking like we have it all together, as just fundamentally just at all. We still talking about miscommunication and blown assignments, and on defense, Devin White. It's just a lot going on right now that should be taken care of. And for your offensive coordinator to come out and say certain things that doesn't give you any hope about his philosophy of why he chooses these plays. He's giving us coach talk about it, and it's not making me feel comfortable that he's in a position like if it approaches us again, how the Pittsburgh Steelers, how they approach us, like will he know what to do there, and why was he running Lenny to right into Hayward? I believe that's his name, Hayward. He's saying, he just says, oh, I need to figure out, I need to put him in a better position. Yeah, we know that, but how are you going to? Did you see? Like, what did you see that you were doing wrong? What do you improve? I know you're not going to give us the intricate little parts about it, but at least give us some hope that we should know our offensive coordinator can adjust on the fly and game plan for situations like these, instead of being stubborn and just trying to pound it, because like every other coach and every other team, they get paid to playing against you, and they're going to do their job. And if they see what another team did successful against us, can you correct your mistakes, and can you not be stubborn and find another way to get our guys open and find good plays to call that can win, that we can win on, and that's where I'm at with it. And Todd Bowles, his press conference yesterday, I don't mean to keep rambling, but yesterday when he did his press, it didn't make me feel any more comfortable. I'm not too comfortable in this team. It's a Carolina team that we should beat, but it was also a Pittsburgh team that we should have beaten also.
I agree with you. It sounds very familiar territory from Pittsburgh to Carolina this week. Kat, what say you? I agree with a lot of what Huncho said. Do you think there's concerns for Tampa? Do you think it's a rough patch? And do you think Byron Leftwich is a serious problem right now for this football team?
Well, let me say that game last week in Pittsburgh, to me, was the most disgusting, embarrassing performance in the Tom Brady era. There have been some other ones. You haven't been a lot. We've won a lot of games. We've lost some games to some lousy teams. We lost to the Bears. We lost to Washington. That was a joke. That was absolutely ridiculous. You were playing a Pittsburgh team with a rookie quarterback and then a never-was quarterback that replaced him. They were down 3 of their best defensive players in the secondary, and you come up with 18 points. You allowed 5 conversions of 3, third and 11 plus, third, anything when there's a teen in it, if it's a third and something teen, that shouldn't happen. I mean, how many of those get converted? What is the percentage? 10% over the season? The Bucs allowed 5 of them. And that is horrendous situational football. It's poor coaching. It's poor execution by the players. That should be a play that's easy to stop. A lot of offenses will run a give-up play in that scenario. Obviously, there was something that Pittsburgh saw, and they decided they could exploit it, and they did. As a disgraceful performance, I was absolutely disgusted, more than I usually am. I normally just move on from a loss. Again, it is one loss. It is something they can correct these mistakes. I don't put too much into these press conferences. That was an absolutely ridiculous press conference today, too, where he gave a bunch of non-answer answers. Right. Coaches have a hard job, and I'm not trying to say it's easy. I'm not even trying to say that I could do their job. Right. But when you see things, if you as a coach have to look and self-scout and watch the tape of what you did last week and realize why it didn't work, whether you realize it in the moment or not, I don't know if he did. We've seen the last few years they've been able to overcome these bad performances and bounce back. I think a large portion of that is their veteran leadership that they have. Most of those guys are still around, not all of them. Gronk is not here. Sue is not here. JPP is not here. But Tom Brady's here. Mike is here. Chris is here. Levante is here. But there's got to be better discipline. Again, you cannot be caught with too many men on the field. Again, that's the second time this year that's happened, and it's cost them a big play. It is just, again, it is poor up and down. You cannot go out and put that out there on the field. I don't care who. I think this team right now has an attitude that they feel they're a talented team, and they are a talented team, that they can just go out there and take the field. And if they're playing at what's perceived as an inferior opponent, and Pittsburgh is, in terms of talent, an inferior opponent, that they can go out there and just take the field and win. And I think the coaching staff, based on how the games have played out, obviously some of those guys feel the same way. So, again, you learn from your mistakes. I hope Byron can do that. I've seen him, I've given him credit in the past couple of years when the offense has looked good. Obviously a large part of it is because we have talented players, but he has to get his share of the credit. but he deserves a large share of the blame. This is ridiculous. It has been predictable. It has been ridiculous. You don't run whatever the hell that was on the goal line when you needed a foot. I don't know what the hell that was, what he was trying to do. You try to play, that's the type of play you do in a preseason game. You want to see how your rookie left guard can hold up. You run that in a preseason game. When you need a foot to score a touchdown, you run the ball behind your two best guys. You got your right guard, Mason, and your right tackle, Tristan Wirfs. You're all pros. You don't fiddle around and run behind the left guard. And that was absolutely an inane play. And at that point, I said, this is probably going to come back to cost us. And late in the game, they did have chances to make additional plays on defense, didn't make them. They had chances on offense. Again, they failed in short yardage. They have been bad on third down all season long, not just in this game, but especially in this game. They've not forced many turnovers either. They're not getting much pass rush either. Whatever they're doing, it's not working. Again, correctable, obviously. Whether the Bucs get to where they want to be, losing a game to the Pittsburgh Steelers in October is not going to define the season. It doesn't have to. It shouldn't. If it does, we're really a mentally weak team if they let that spill over into this week. So that shouldn't define them, but they got to get a lot better everywhere. Coaches, players, all up and down the line. Has to be a better mindset. And when I hear Tom Brady say they'll get it corrected, that makes me feel better. That makes me feel some hope. Listening to what Byron Leftwich and Todd Bowles have to say, whatever. It's just noise to me. Even if they said the right things, I don't care. But hearing Brady say that gives me hope. But again, they got to find a way to get a win this week regardless. And, who knows? Sports can change quick. Football, any sport really. And from week to week, we could easily be sitting here a week from today when we play the Baltimore Ravens right here. And all of a sudden, things could totally turn around. We could end up winning this week. We could beat them. And we'll be like, man, remember when they lost to Pittsburgh a few weeks ago? Wow, what a turnaround. Who knows? Maybe that's what happens. I hope it is. I hope it does. But I'm not as optimistic as usual. Sorry, let me shut up now.
No, that's a great rant. Sorry, that's
yeah,
a great rant. I love it. I love it.
I agree, bro.
I wish I weren't doing it. I wish that weren't the case, I wish they could have, stolen that game. Even if they'd won that game, I'd say, well, they need to play better. But hey, you take the win because they're not all. You just want to stack them any way you can. But the wins before this was not, were very not awe-inspiring. Other than I thought the New Orleans win was a spirited effort, at least defensively. I think they played with an edge in that game. I thought defensively for a large portion of the Green Bay game, they've had an edge to them. I haven't really seen that since Atlanta. Yeah, the first half, but again, they stopped playing in that game and nearly cost them the game. This game, they never had it to begin with. They lost the game. And you can't do that. I'm not saying you're going to play a perfect 4 quarters, but you can't do that against anybody because any team can beat anybody. We saw that not just with us. We've seen it with a lot. So we'll see. Again, I think it's correctable. But, Byron Leftwich has to be accountable. It didn't sound like he was today. But again, like I said, I take that with a grain of salt because when you're losing, nothing you really say is going to sound smart. The only thing that can make you look smart is to go out and win and execute properly.
Correct.
And Byron Leftwich just looks outmatched out there. Looks like he's in over his head out there. And he's deflecting simple questions to him, right? It's not like they're going up there and asking him hardball questions. JC Allen, shout out to him. Great friend of the show's from Pewter Report. JCL, and all he asked him was, hey, Byron, you're like the worst ranked first down team in the league. What are you going to do to fix that? And Byron goes, where are you seeing that? And JC goes, EPA, it's right there. And Byron kind of laughs at him. And JC Allen kind of spits back then and goes, hey, man, stats are stats. I'm just saying. So
I loved it.
I loved it too, man. It felt good to see our media, not like Jenna Lane going up there. I'm sorry to call out Jenna Lane, but she's such a bubblehead and asks the worst questions. I remember earlier in the year, she asked Todd Bowles, Todd, this was after a loss too. It's like, Todd, this was after the Green Bay game. Todd, did you see the beehives on the field goal post? There were a lot of bees swarming the field before the game. And Todd literally goes, Jenna, I did not notice that. It's like, read the room, Jenna. And then, all this Todd Bowles stuff last week. And then with Brady today, she's trying to throw that military common comparison in his face. It's like, Jenna just thinks she's better than everybody else, which, I get it. You work for ESPN, so your paycheck might say that. But in reality, we're all human beings here. And you got to treat the players and the coaches a little bit better than you are, Jenna Lane. That's all I'm going to say. End rant. Sorry about that. Didn't
I
mean.
think she treats them very well, if you know what I mean. Oh, I didn't say it. I think she's treated some of them very well before.
There it
But
goes.
I don't think she's allowed to do that anymore. So
That's what it might be right there, Cats. That's what it might be.
I don't know. It's pure conjecture. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe, but hey, you know those USF. Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I know. No, I'm sure she works hard at her job, but yeah, I appreciate JC Allen asking. I'd like to think, Byron Leftwich is aware that, he has to know they're not executing at the level they're capable of. We're going to week 7 now. There are changes on the offensive side of the ball, but this is still a very talented offensive football team that there's a lot of teams out there that would love to have the talent he has at his disposal.
Right.
So he has to know. He can't possibly be watching and saying, yeah, I think we're doing okay. And he knows they're not. The question is, does he have the answers to fix it? Is he too stubborn to change what he's doing because it's not working? We've seen the last couple of years that they've had their struggles. He's come back and he's put together some good game plans and they've bounced back. I know last season ultimately they struggled against the Rams, but if we're being honest, that was a tough match. He was handicapped in what he could do in that game based on injuries, based on the opponent. So, those don't bother me. A lot of people might want to give him flack on that. I was like, look who we were missing. Look who we were facing. The Rams had a great defense. So that happens. You can't do that against Pittsburgh, who's missing guys. To put that game plan out there. So I hope he self-scouts like he has at times the last few years and gets this thing corrected. I really do hope so.
I think it's a lot with the veteran leadership. Also, last year we had a lot of good, strong veterans with JPP. You had Sue there. It's just the list goes on. You have Gronk on offense. Jensen's not there. Marpet's not there. A lot of those core leaders that probably could push the team to get right there to just do enough to win those type of games. They're not there. And the accountability. JPP was a big voice in that locker room for that defense last year. And I think they don't have that on them right now, even in it trickles down it goes all the way up, I believe, to the head coach. Not saying Todd is a bad coach, but for just the attitude, the demeanor, and it just looks too passive, and it's a reflection of, I think, the team and what they bring to the table right now. It's not a good look when we're losing and we have that type of demeanor and character going on about ourselves. I need some fight, some dog, and it's just been looking like pretty shitty. Every week it's like I'm biting my nails, like with the Pittsburgh Steelers, a 1-4 team, and Todd goes in there saying that he knew it was going to be a tough game. It's a 1-4 team. Like, where's your kahunas at to say that, we thought we were going to come in here and do something and we got outplayed, outcoached? Like, come on, man. You got to have some like a stronger, I don't know what happens behind the scenes completely, but for what I do see, I'm not satisfied on. And it's still early, but how we're losing and the responses, it bothers me and irks my nerves.
Yeah, and I think you make great points there. A lot of great rants going on. We're all full of them. We could do this for hours and days. And I agree, Todd Bowles just looks a little outmatched right now. BA would have had his foot halfway up these people's asses by now, saying,
calling
hey,
everybody out.
Let's go. And that was the thing about BA. He was honest, and I loved it. And, he was direct, and he was right there. And that's why he lands atop of my favorite Bucs coaches of all time. Leprechaun says that's my girl, y'all. Sorry to hear that, Lep. You're my guy, but sorry about that. But it's like, oh, man. Anyways, real quick, let me get my mini rant. What up, Hunch?
I say, I bet she is his girl.
We'll make score predictions and player of the game predictions and Thursday night football score predictions here in a minute. Then we'll make our big thing and walk off on out of here. But my mini rant quick is this. Out of the last 16 quarters, we've literally played 2 good quarters of football against the Falcons in the first half, like Katz alluded to. 16 quarters. 2 good quarters of football. That's fucking unacceptable to any team in any league in any level of football, going down to the Pee-wees, going all the way up to the NFL. That's unacceptable. Any coach would be getting their ass chewed out for that crap. You don't come in here and play 2 out of 16 good quarters of football when some of the teams you're playing have records such as 1-4, or at the time the Falcons, who are still hemming and hawing their way, to being a good football team. We couldn't even put collective good halves together against either of those teams besides the first half against Atlanta. Then you look at Green Bay and Kansas City. Kansas City really won by more than the scoreboard showed, I feel like. They really did a number on us. And Green Bay, we're lucky that game wasn't a 20-point game, by the way. Our offense came out and played we fought hard on D that game. Don't get me wrong. Our defense came to play that game. But our offense, it was like, what are you all doing? And Lord, for the life of me, why the hell, the first time we see Tom Brady, I'm so mad I'm calling him Tom Gravy out here. Tom Brady, why the hell do we see him do the first QB sneak of the year? He's a great QB sneaker. We've been asking for it all year. Why the hell is he running behind the left guard, Luke Godeke, when he's doing a QB sneak? It's just terrible. Why do you run a QB sneak behind your worst offensive lineman? Why not behind your right guard, probably your second best offensive lineman behind Tristan Wirfs? What the hell are you doing? It's totally unmatched. It's unprepared. It's undisciplined football. You better get it fixed this week, bud, because people think the ceiling was falling last week against Pittsburgh. You go out there and you lose to Carolina. People are going to be coming for your guys' jobs in that office. People are going to want you gone. You can't lose an inexcusable 2 games in a row to a Pittsburgh team, and the only team that might look more pathetic than the Steelers out there each and every Sunday right now is the Carolina Panthers. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a head coach. Their running back shipped halfway out of town. They got guys blowing Antonio Brown-type moments on the damn sideline. If we don't win by these score predictions coming in, Cleve and me 35-17. Pops 35-17. You might as well pack your bags right now at 3-4 and say, see you later, guys. Tom Brady, go try and fix your marriage. Because at 3-4 with back-to-back losses to Pittsburgh and Carolina, you're done. Unacceptable. Man up. Now or never. We're making right strides. Lenny F is putting Instagram down. He's hitting the books hard. Tom Brady put up this monumental post on Instagram saying we're going to get it together and win, like Katz alluded to earlier. That makes me feel good about that. Mike Evans is calling Sunday and must win. So while you got Devin White and Russell Gage and all these guys talking about how they're, nervous or maybe taking some guys are taking plays off, this and that, we got these 3 hardcore dudes and Brady and Evans and Lenny F who are already balls to the wall, putting their fucking foot on the pedal and saying enough's enough. I've seen it. Like Huncho said, we're lacking veteranship right now. These are the guys who are going to have to step up. And it's pathetic that we're lacking veteranship in a team with Tom Brady, in a team with Akeem Hicks, in a team with Shaq Barrett. Wake up. What the hell are you doing? Show some leadership out there. It's honestly really, really disgusting. End rant for me. You guys got any comment?
Disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. You're right, Tones. And I agree with you. Like, out of all the times, that 1 yard line, it seems so long. And I'm watching, I'm like, I knew it was going to fail from the jump. When I seen it on the screen and I just seen it was so far, I was like, this is the wrong time to run it. Why do you run it right here when you had Brady right there on the 1 yard line? And I just don't get the play calling. I don't get the execution is not there. Like, you're right here on the 1 yard line. You run straight to the left side to Godeke. He gets swimmed. Hayward swims him, gets the tackle in the back. You go back. Brady gets sacked after that. It's just, and everybody is predictable. Like JC Allen said, well, when it becomes predictable on your team, what are you going to do? Oh, it's about the execution. Come on, you could call better plays, man. Do a pick play. Call a pick play or something where you could get a guy open or something. I mean, I'm not a coach by any means, you know what I'm saying? But I just feel like last year, this year, day and night, I know different players left, but come on, you have Tom Brady back there. He is the GOAT. Why is this team struggling right now after being in this offense for this long, and the play caller is still trying to adjust and find? I don't know how he switched it up or he found out how he want to use this guy and how he tries to, but we're full strength on offense. We have our full offense except for Julio Jones. Can't make that excuse no more. Okay, Godwin, he's probably getting back in his stride. He's a little rusty. He's not explosive right now, But come on, with the play calling and the execution is just lackluster, and I'm frustrated also. I mean, if they don't at least show some real fight, 37, like those scores, if we could pull out one of those and just look consistent on offense and defense, just look consistent and look dominant and look like you came to play instead of looking dead with no energy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just piss poor, and I'm just, as a fan, I'm upset, and as a co-host of the show, I'm very frustrated also just watching the game. I won't even go to the stadium and support, because it's like you're spending your money and you're getting your heart broke. You know what I'm saying? It's just not even worth it.
I'm with you, dude. It's been rough sledding. Loose Cannon's Leprechaun says, I love your presentation, Tones. I appreciate you, my man. And thanks always for stepping in to the Buccateers. We got a comment for Cats from Cleve and me. My brother says, SVU new in an hour, Cats. Cats,
it's not a new one. Well, it's not a new one. They're showing an episode from last year. So unfortunately, no new SVU tonight. They will resume with new ones next week. But they are re-showing the episode from last year where Nick Amaro made a return. So if you haven't seen that episode, it's worth a watch. And if you have seen it, it still was a good episode. SVU, yeah, I'm a little disappointed though that Kelly Giddish is going to be phased out of the show. That's disappointing me too. But no, well, it's another disappointing thing for another day, man. About why they forced my gal Kelly off the show. But yeah, both like what both of you were saying, and I do think the Bucs will bounce back. I do think they will win this week. I guess we'll get to that in a minute. I don't think it's going to be as lopsided as some of those predictions are. Right now, they just need to go get a win. I do think they'll do that.
Yeah, whether they got a limp to win, whatever, just go out there and get a W at this point. Cleve and me says, boys, 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 as Rogers says, RELAX. Well, he's relaxing a little too much in the offseason, apparently, on ayahuasca, and look at what that's leading them to over there. No, I know, we're fine, but...
They don't look good either. They look like us right now. Both, I know they beat us, but a lot of people felt us in Green Bay at the top of the heap in the NFC, and we're both sitting here at 3-3 now. They're in a tougher division. They've got Minnesota 2 ahead of them with the tiebreaker on them. We're 3-3, and we've so far 2-0 in the division. So we have that going for us, but you can't use that as a crutch either.
No, you can't. As you said, you really can't. And, they have the head-to-head, but we should win the division. Nonetheless, we should win this division by still a couple of games, in my opinion. So we'll get to that here right now. We got another comment coming in from Pops before we get to our score predictions and player of the game. BA, no risk it, no biscuit. Tell it like it is. Call Brady out. Call everyone out. Hold people accountable equals Super Bowl. Bowles has to turn over calling defense like BA did with offense and manage team. I agree with that. If, having 2 defensive coordinators, you might as well have no defensive coordinators at that point. It's like too many cooks in the kitchen there with Todd Bowles being a defensive-minded guy. So we'll see what the hell's going on there. And offensively, Byron's really got to get his shit together. Fellas, we're over an hour and 8 minutes now. We're going to do score predictions and player of the game predictions. Then we'll give our Thursday night football predictions and our walk-offs, and we'll get the hell out of here. Huncho, so far we have 35-17 by Pops and Joe. Dave said 27-10. Dave from Carolina Primetime Podcast. What say you, Hunch? What's your score? What's your player of the game?
They got PJ Williams. I mean, what's their the quarterback?
PJ Walker. It looks like he will be the man under center.
He's a mobile quarterback. I give him from 14 to 16, and hopefully we could just get I think we're gonna come out on fire. I really do think we're gonna come out on fire. A must win, like Mike Evans said. I feel like we're not gonna let off, and I feel like this is gonna be a very big bounce back game. So I'll say probably 30-17. I'll get at 30-17.
And who's your player of the game? Who you rolling with?
Player of the game. Honestly, it got to be Tom Brady. It has to be Tom Brady at this point. I want to say, honestly, you know what I want to say? It got to be fucking Byron Leftwich. He needs to be the fucking player of the game. If it depends on his play calling, what our offense would do, and his decision making on how we were going to come out this game.
Looks like him being and I do like Byron. Listen, I met him at the Arians Family Foundation. He's a nice guy. You met him before as well, Hunch. But at the end of the day, you got to make adjustments as a coach, man. And he might have blew his chance in Jacksonville. I know he wanted a new GM to be their head coach over there, but sometimes you got to take what you could get in the head coaching world. And he had a chance to coach Jacksonville, denied it because of the GM. And now you see Doug Peterson over there, and Byron might not get another chance to step up to the plate for coaching over there. So I think that's a good player or coach of the game candidate is Leftwich for sure. Cats, what say you? Are you going with Leftwich or coach as your man of the game, and what's your score prediction?
Well, no, I think Chris Godwin's going to have a big game. I'll go with him as my player of the game. I don't think it's going to be – I think it'll be an efficient performance. I'll give the Bucs a 27-13 win. Again, I don't think it's going to be dominant. I don't think they're going to put up a ton of points, but I think they'll be more efficient and take advantage of a Carolina team that, like Pittsburgh, lacks in terms of talent. But Pittsburgh did not lack coaching. Carolina does. Pittsburgh has Mike Tomlin. Carolina does not. So that'll help us here in this week, and that's all we can focus on right now. And I think they'll do good enough to come out there with a W, 27-13.
I'm loving the optimism. We got a lot of good scores right now. I'm going with, no week to get back on track, right? I said that last week. I'm going with 27-17. We win by 10, and that's still giving us a little much, grace right now, a double-digit win. But you got to get back on track somehow. You got to make it look decent out there. Because as Katz alluded to earlier, we have a quick turnaround at Thursday night against Baltimore. If you come out slow in this game and sluggish, you can't do any of that. You got to look sharp. You got to look like you're ready to play. Thursday night football comes quick. We know that. We got to have a mini 2-0 run stretch here, and that starts with playing good football this coming Sunday. And I think, I don't know if he's going to be player of the game, but I'm calling it, and I need him to step up. We need him to step up. Vita Vea. He just hasn't done enough for us right now. He's getting pushed around on film studies out there. He's getting paid a lot of money now. So Vita Vea is definitely going to have to step up for our defense if we want them to improve or succeed or get better or any of that good stuff. So a lot of guys making a lot of money right now, and we'll see where that goes. Nonetheless, guys, Thursday night football, we got our hated Saints traveling to the desert in Arizona. Cats will start with you. I don't know. I don't think Jameis is.
No, Andy Dalton is, which unfortunately gives them a chance to win. Dalton's actually, they put up some points. I saw that it was 30-26 last week. They lost, so they put up some points with him. But I'll give it Arizona, I think, should at home, I believe, on a Thursday night. I'll give Arizona the edge there. Not by much. And these Thursday night games, if the past ones are any indication, won't be worth watching. And, hey, I don't have Amazon Prime, so I can't watch it. And I probably wouldn't be watching anyway. But I'll give Arizona a 24-21 win.
24-21 victory for Arizona over the Fighting Red Rockets.
Hopkins back?
Hopkins back tonight as well. D-Hop's back, and crazy man Robby Anderson's over there as well.
Yeah.
So
is he start? I don't think he's starting, is he? I don't think he's playing this game. Robby?
I think I heard that he might play. Maybe he's not anymore, but nonetheless, he'll be on the sidelines. There was a video of him banging someone in the back of a car.
I was wondering, was that him or not?
I'm wondering if that was him or not too, but let's hope he keeps that one, or whoever the hell that was. Let's hope that doesn't happen again. Huncho, what's your score on tonight's game, brother?
I'm gonna say with D-Hop back and all, I feel like Taysom is gonna play a role tonight too, and then nobody can stop him as much as how when he's on a hot streak like that. So I think they're gonna actually put up point. Are there receivers? Are the receivers back? I know Michael Thomas is not, but are the other receivers back? Or you're not sure?
Olave's playing. I know that. I don't think Landry is back. I could be wrong, but I know Olave is playing. Taysom Hill has been playing at a high level lately. I know Traquan Smith is going to play tonight. So
Okay, well, if they could get the receivers back, I'm just say this probably, I'll say 28-21. I don't even 28-21 Arizona, and that's or it could go the other way 28-21 the Saints. I'm not sure, but we'll see. I'm kind of 50-50 with it.
hoping Uncle Cliff Kingsbury and Uncle Kyler Murray have a nice little game tonight. We could use it. Fuck the Saints. Fuck the NFC South. Jabu, Red Rocket. Y'all can make of that what you want. But Pop says Arizona 31, New Orleans 17. I'm hoping Kyler gets on track tonight with D-Hop back, and I think Eno Benjamin has a nice game. He's going to be the starting running back for Arizona as James Conner's out again. I got Arizona winning this one 27-16. I don't think Saints offense gets it going, although Kat said Dalton is playing better than Winston out there, it looks like, to the naked eye at least. So you never know what the Saints team does. Chris Olave has looked like a pretty good rookie wide receiver to this point as well. And Mr. I'll beat you up in a Vegas nightclub is, not having as great a season yet. So, yeah, we'll see if Kamara could, and innocent till proven guilty, of course, but the damn guy's just on video beating someone's ass, and
no suspension or nothing. But wow, I'm not. Whatever.
Goodell wipes the Saints' ass dry every year, though. So
just nothing.
Hopefully, Jim Irsay steps up against Goodell next. Jim Irsay took it to Dan Snyder this week already. The Redskins owner, Dan Snyder.
Yeah, I heard that.
That was awesome of Jim Irsay. So hopefully next he'll tell Goodell to step up a little bit.
I got a question, Tones. So giving a take, I want your take too, Cats, on this. So granted, I don't want this to happen. Hopefully this doesn't happen. So if we do come out and we put another performance out there as what we did against Pittsburgh, what do you do in terms after that with the coaching staff and everything? What do you do?
I think Bowles would have to, make defensive changes, whoever's coordinating what over there. I think Bowles would have to really just take the reins on the whole situation and see what happens and walk through step by step, hand in hand with those defensive coordinators. And I think Byron Leftwich would have to get help, whether it's from Tom Moore or Bruce Arians. I just don't think that Byron Leftwich could continue. I don't think we lose this game, but I've been wrong before, and we've lost to the Steelers last week. So we'll see what's going on. And, Katz, you could give your thoughts on that.
Well, even if they do lose, I'll tell you right now, they're not going to do anything different. I'm giving you I'm telling it like it is. They're not going to do anything.
That's true.
If they're going to do nothing.
I believe it. Makes sense.
So I hope they don't lose, obviously. I don't think they will either, but if they do lose, they're not going to do anything.
Yeah, Katz is giving the harsh truth right now, but they probably won't do anything unless it got to 3-6 or something. I'm not saying it will at all, but if it got that bad, then you might see some changes. But for now, we're going to keep treading lightly. As Mike joins us, our favorite regular, Mike says, "Hey, boys, how you doing, Mike? Thanks for catching our last segment here, our one big thing and walk-off for Sunday's game. Better late than never. Better to get your cookie hand in the I'm misspeaking. Better to get your hand in the cookie jar than don't get it in the jar at all, damn it. Jesus, what am I doing? Nonetheless, Huncho, we'll start with you. One big thing or walk-off that you're looking forward to for Sunday's game, brother, and any last words, comments, questions for the Buccateers this evening?
Okay, well, my number one thing that I'm really worried about, defense, okay. I'm not really I'm worried about them, but the struggles, I feel like they can fix those. You get Mike Edwards back. Hopefully that can change some of the play calls. He's a ball hawk. But far as it's the offense and the lack of scoring in the red zone, the energy, I just need to see more efficiency from that offense and more continuity with Mike Evans and Brady and Godwin and Gage. I want to see our wide receivers get the ball and stop calling so many damn run plays on first down. It's just the offense. I got to see a better version of this offense. That's my big thing that I'm wanting to see, and that's about it, guys.
It's like a Pokemon, right? It's in the first form right now, and you're hoping that Charmander gets to Charizard or Charmeleon, whatever the hell their name is. But you're hoping they evolve through the weeks or the coming months.
This is Bowles' team. Remember that. This is Bowles' team. And he said this is his team. So he got to take accountability, man.
Yep, he's got to be the captain of the ship. You don't want Bruce's help. So we'll see how that factors. Cats, what's your one big thing? I like Huncho's walk-off as the offense needing to evolve. What say you for Sunday?
Yeah, I agree. And you got to start faster than you've been starting these games because, Carolina's one win is over New Orleans. You're going to get an inspired, regardless of their issues, you're going to get an inspired effort, I think, from them because it is a divisional game. Start the game faster. We've seen, 3 and out on the first possession in many of these games offensively. We've given up points on the opening possession in all but one game this year, and we've scored points on our opening possession in, I think, one game, maybe two. They were field goals. Start the game faster. If you could start fast and get the Carolina into a hole, you could probably get them to go away and walk out of there with an easy win. But you gotta have the guys ready. You gotta call a better game if you're Byron. Be aggressive right from the beginning. And I hope that, after seeing what's going on, that he's learned that by now, that taking that loss last week and nearly losing the Atlanta game, that he'll learn from that. I want to be proven wrong. I want to see him do that. I've seen this offense do it before. I've never seen them struggle this badly, although they've had some bad moments in recent years. So prove me wrong. I'd like to see that.
I love all of that right there as well. And I'm going to go with getting pressure on the quarterbacks and not letting them convert third downs and forevers. I want to see the defense get after the quarterback. I want to see the D-backs hold their guys on those third and longs. As Katz alludes to, tackle them after 14 yards. They're not going to go for it on 4th and 2 from their own 20-yard line. You got 14 or 15 yards to play with. Instead, you let up 16 or 17. And then the quarterback paying Vita all this money, paying Shaq all this money. Wake up, fellas. I love both of you guys. Two good players, really good players when they're on top of their game. But lately, they've been harder to find than Waldo in a Where's Waldo book.
Did Shaq put on weight? Because he's looking like he put on extra weight or something. Or is that just me? Shaq Barrett.
Hard to tell. I can't tell.
I can't tell. I got to get a better look at him on Sunday.
If you guys see, if you come up with an answer, just let me know because I was wondering because he looked a little beefy than what he did last few years.
Yeah, and that could be a factor slowing down as well. But he started the year fine. His first couple games are fine, and then last couple were like, "Where's Waldo out there?" So, any last words, gentlemen, before we log off right now?
I just want everybody
to
stay
play better.
Go Bucs. Stay safe and stay blessed, man. Hopefully, we have a good conversation next week about how we won this game.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I like how you said a good convo about how we won this game. Not a bad convo about how we lost or how we barely won, but just a good old-fashioned convo about how we won this game. Mike says all that extra weight is that money the Bucs paid in. Oh, man, that's – geez, Mike. Don't come in here with those zingers this late, bro.
I love it.
Cracking me up. On behalf of Tampa Tones and Dave from the Primetime Carolina Podcast, we've had our two great co-captains in the house tonight, A-Cat and Huncho themselves. It's been the Buccateers. You can find the replay on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcast, Twitter, and so much more. It's a great Thursday night. Go enjoy Thursday night football. And then this Sunday, enjoy it. Today is actually sports equinox. I forgot to mention. We have NHL, we have NBA, we have NFL, and we have MLB.
The Lightning aren't playing, so it doesn't really count to me, Toads.
I agree with that. When the Lightning play in the NHL, just, kind of, it doesn't really matter to me. So, you could take out hockey and substitute college football, baby. We got Troy, Southern Alabama, and we got Virginia against I forget who as well, but a couple of college games on the griddle as well. On behalf of the Buccateers, everybody, it's been a beautiful evening. Cats and Huncho, thank you so much. Dave, thank you so much. Always a pleasure going to war with you, gentlemen. Fire the damn cannons and go Bucs.
Bucs.
Game on Sunday, man. I know you're nervous for the Rams, but you got to be a little enthusiastic after being there.
Bro, that game atmosphere was ridiculous. The energy, the electricity. That place was rocking. Anyone was there, and a lot of the Super Buck fans were there too. The Bucs.
Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron Show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little cleared. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like we got a little.
No, my camera's broke.